Hello and welcome back to another Get Good at Business Spotlight. Today, I'm so excited to be joined by Sami, who's going to be sharing with us all about her incredible business and how she's getting good at business every day. I am your host, Taylor Proctor, and I am your business coach here to help you get good at business so you can get back into the heart of why you got into business in the first place. And the way that we like to do that is using the I Move method, which stands for intuition, marketing, operations, velocity, and execution. And today, Sami's going to be pulling back the curtain on her business and how she uses intuition, how she executes in her marketing, etc., within the I Move method to have the incredible business she has. So, Sami, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So, for those of you watching, Sami is an intuitive anxiety management coach, spiritual guide, and mindfulness instructor who helps women release the emotional and energetic blocks that hold them back. With a compassionate approach that blends personalized coaching, energy work, somatic, and yoga practices, Sami guides her clients in untangling deep rooted anxiety and reclaiming their true essence. Drawing from her own experience with anxiety and healing, which I'm sure we'll learn more about here in a minute, she empowers women to connect with their inner wisdom, heal past wounds, and embrace their authentic selves. In addition to her coaching work, she offers astrology readings. I've gotten one of those from her, helping people better understand themselves through the lens of their birth chart. Sami believes in the power of spiritual alignment and holistic healing to bring balance and fulfillment to life. She is passionate about helping others untether from anxiety and live with greater freedom, joy, and self awareness. So I'm going to say it again, Sami. I'm so excited to hear and so excited to dive into your story.
Yes, I am excited to share my story. A little bit about me. So I had the worst anxiety growing up, like debilitating kind of stuff. And it wasn't until probably about the last year of when I started dabbling in the healing journey of what, healing is and like the shadow work that comes with it, that I really started to realize that I was untethering literally myself from energy blocks. And that's pretty much all anxiety is. It's a biological experience and it's an energetic experience. And when you kind of put it into that mind frame that it's just we all experience it and we get to just kind of name it and then like let it go because this too shall pass, it puts it into a different perspective. And so just that mind reframe behind it. But in the middle of my divorce this year, I launched this coaching program. And my divorce was for the best for both of us. Like we are actually better friends now than ever. So grateful for that, right? Because it could have been worse. But um, I launched my first coaching program in the middle of that. And I realized that living in authentic alignment with who I am through my birth chart, actually, and realizing kind of like who I am and like what I need to do in life, I was like, I need to coach people. I need to be there for people and I need to help people transform their lives and live in that authentic alignment. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's so beautiful. I love that. Love that, love that. So, as we move into the areas of the I move method, I think that astrology and even like personality types or different modalities can really fall into the intuition category, right? So, how do you tap into your intuition when guiding the direction and growth of your company, which is called Untethered Healing?
Yeah. So, I mean, intuition is huge for me. I use the energy modalities literally with every single one of my coaching clients. I tap into their energy. I find out what emotion it is that they're holding on to that maybe they don't know, and then go from there. Um, Meditation is huge for me, but meditation for me isn't like laying on a bed and om breathing. It is cycling, actually. Cycling, running, moving my body is what I learned is my biggest meditation. And it was actually during a ride on my Peloton that I realized that I wanted to launch this coaching program. It like in the middle of this cycle, I was like, I
There
should
it
do
is.
it. There it is. And then from there, it just kind of all started to fall into place. Every
Mhm.
part of it, obviously I'm pretty in tune with a lot of different things, but I just was like, when people know about their big three, when people know about their chart and, why they act the way they do, sometimes it kind of just answers these questions that we've been longing for. And I just was like, combine it all together. Why not? No one else is doing it. Like, create that niche. We got this. So, yeah, that's kind of how my intuition played into how it became as crazy as it may seem, but it works.
Yeah. And something you're continuing to tap into. It's not like you
Absolutely.
went cycling once and got this brainstorm. It's
No, nope.
regular and you're using your intuition to continue to facilitate the ideas within the business.
Absolutely. And it helps, the more in tune I am with my business, or the more in tune I am with myself and living in alignment with my authenticity, the more it plays into my business. I was at the energy healing conference this weekend and I was talking during my presentation. And all of a sudden, I just was like, I am supposed to be doing this. Like, it just was like, this is my calling. This is my life. Like, this is what I want to do. And it will shape my business more and more the more I live, eat, breathe, and sleep. You know what I mean? The more I'm in tune with it all. So, yeah.
So I love this idea too of the intuition and like the just knowing that this is what you're called to. Because I think that for so many entrepreneurs, we're like, yes, this feels like it's right for me. But then we kind of hit those walls moving through the next area of the I move method when it comes to how do we market that? So I would love if you would be willing to share with us some of the strategies that you're using to reach more women who could benefit from all that you offer, specifically with like the anxiety management coaching.
Honestly, I've been attending so many different networking events, putting myself out there, like reaching out to you and being like, I want to go on this. I want to talk about it. Joining Tammy Anderson down at Provo in the Energy Healing Conference. I want to speak about what I do. I can post on social media all day. I can create the best reel that goes viral. I can post my story, which ironically, my Instagram, there was so many women that came up to me and they're like, I know about you. And I'm like, you do? And they're like, yeah, you recently were divorced and you had like this massive transformation. And I was like, huh, well, thank you. Thank you for noticing me and
Like,
remembering me.
it's working.
It's working. Like, social media does work, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm authentic on social media. I don't change who I am. My verbiage, my authenticity shows through social media, but I want people to see me, feel
Right.
my energy, because people were drawn to the booth. They were like, you just have the most kind energy. You have the most like drawn in and magnetic. What was the one that was used? Transformative and magnetism. And I was like, well, see, that's my energy. And it's
Right.
there when I'm around people and people can see that and sense that and they want to talk to me and I want to talk to them. And who you see on social media is who you get in real life too.
Right.
And that's what the biggest thing with the marketing for me is I want my brand to be authentic. And I think going and attending all these things and putting myself out there so people can see, hear me, and sense me will, is the biggest thing for my business and how I'm marketing it right now.
Absolutely. And that full
Yeah,
alignment, I think is everything. I love that.
absolutely.
So I want to take us off a tangent for just a half a second because I think
Absolutely.
that a lot of our audience, we hear a lot about like, well, be authentic, be authentic, be authentic. And it's like, well, I'm the same person at a funeral as I am at a wedding, but I behave differently, right? And so I would love to invite you to share a little bit more about, and I know that this has to do with your birth chart and things like that, but how you could fall into like, yes, after this divorce, after this anxiety, I am authentically me, and kind of the structural support that you put in place to be able to find that for yourself.
Yeah. So I hit on it. So the speech that I did was all about living in alignment. And when I was writing this speech, I actually had a really hard time because I was like, I'm not really showing up authentically, am I? And like I just kind of went back and forth. But then a friend of mine was like, Sam, you are probably one of the most authentic people. And so I kind of sat there and I was like, I am. I am. But what actually catapulted my divorce was that I wasn't living in alignment with myself. In
Right.
2024, I chose the word authenticity as my word this year. And I realized that my Aquarius rising is a innovative, march to the beat of your own drum. Um, do not mold me. Don't tell me what I can and can't do kind of individual. And that it was how I was living for a very long time, between family members telling me that who I should be, my husband telling me what I should and shouldn't do. And I was living like that. And then as I chose that word and as this year kind of transpired, I just was like, no, You don't get to tell me who I can and can't be. I get to choose who that is. And this is who I am. I am a Scorpio who's deep and transformative and passionate and intense, but the intensity isn't scary. It's just, I love talking about what I'm passionate about, and I love deep conversations. My Gemini moon is intellectually stimulated by things. I have 50, probably 50 certifications that are in my closet. And but I'm constantly learning. Again, I'm somatics instructor, yoga, mindfulness, meditation. I've gotten my nutrition certification. I have so many different things because I love to be stimulated and learn all about it. And then again, that Aquarius rising comes in that says, we're going to do it our way. You don't get to mold me. You don't get to put me in that box. And that's how I show up authentically. Like, obviously, there's a time and a place to make a joke. That doesn't make you inauthentic, but maintaining what's the word I'm looking for? Stability in who you are is authentic. Remaining still in your power is authentic. So, yeah.
I love that because I also think that for like whether it's astrology or human design or any of those other things, there's a lot of permission based energy with that, right? Like permission to say, oh, if that's true, and you can choose and test if you want it to be true or not, but if that's true, I'm completely out of alignment with that. And if I wanted to just explore that option, how would my life be better? And you're a living, breathing example of that. And I love that.
Yeah. And it all comes down to free will, right? Like I could give you your birth chart and say, this is the life that you can live, but you have a choice. You get to decide. Still, I can tell you that you're an Aries, you're bold, you're passionate, you're fiery, you're gonna get stuff done, but you could also be like, I'm gonna go sit on the couch today, so I'm actually not going to do that. So
Fair enough.
it all comes down to free will and what we choose to want to live and how we want to live that life and how we want to show up.
I love that. So you mentioned you have all these certifications, you love to be mentally stimulated and to grow. Obviously, there's a lot that has to do with business in that capacity. And when we look at the O of I Move, our operations, there's always a lot of systems or processes or even all the different modalities that you're pulling in. So what systems and processes have you put into place to really ensure that the business runs smoothly as you continue to grow?
Lisa is my godsend. I she is my assistant and she has helped me so much with being having all these different certifications. I was also a virtual assistant for 2 years. I did all the back end stuff. I did, I created system processing. I created task stuff that you follow this, right? I know how to do it. But when I started launching this business, I was like, I want my first and foremost, like, focus to be on me and what I'm putting out there. And so she helped me. She moved all my stuff over to go high level. She's like, we're going to do this. And I'm like, I know all of these things. I can do them myself. But I did reach out and have help because I want my focus to be on the front, like the forefront of it. I mean, I set up my website, I set up my lead generators, that kind of stuff. But she definitely has taken like I created my course all by myself. But she's taken I don't want to call it like the monotonous tasks out of it for me. But yeah, that's my system and process because
No,
I'm like
I love it because I think
transparency.
we, as entrepreneurs, we hit this tipping point in our businesses where it's this idea of, yeah, I can do it, but do I want to spend hours learning, go high level in the system and all of these things and building it all and putting it in? Or do I want to build what I need to and give it to someone else who can do it faster and is already knowledgeable in that? And I can focus on the things that are most important in my business. And so that delegation is huge. And I appreciate you highlighting that, like, there is that tipping point where you do kind of have to ask yourself, like, is this the best use of my time, effort, and energy? Or can I hire someone and take this off my plate and free me up for all the big impactful things that this small stuff supports, but I want to focus here?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where when I launched this again, it was in the middle of the divorce. I have a kid. I'm a single mom now. I run 2 businesses right now. And I just was like, the business I want to take off is my coaching business. I need to focus on these most important tasks. I need to focus on, putting my face out there, attending these events, doing the forefront. I need help. And Lisa she's my angel. So we love Lisa so much. But yeah, I had to delegate because I'm like, I want this to take off so bad that I need to focus my attention on the out front stuff. I couldn't personally in this moment focus on the small little details like that. So delegation is that is my process.
I love that. And I think that's also a really solid and important strategy to add velocity to your business as well, is that get in, focus on what's going to make the impact, delegate and set your operations how you need to support that. So as we
Absolutely.
move through the other parts of iMove in the V velocity space, what are some other key strategies that you've used to really accelerate the growth of your business?
You know, I've been trying to do a lot of collaborations, lots of collaborations. Like, let me attend your retreat. Let me do, because I'm a yoga instructor. I'm like, let me do a yoga untethering little meditation. Let me do that, just connecting with a bunch of like-minded individuals who understand ish what I do and put myself out there like that. So collaboration has been the biggest velocity. I have a few collabs in the back of my pocket that I'm so excited to share about in the next little bit. So yeah, just connecting with like-minded women. It's mostly women. I'm not opposed to connecting with men by any means. But women is definitely my biggest focus because as a single mom, I can relate to a lot of them. So when a single mom's like, I'm putting on an event, and I'm like, let me help you. Let me do this. So yeah.
I love that. So you'd mentioned, and you don't have to say what those are, but you mentioned you have a couple of big collaborations in your back pocket. So as we round things out with the E of iMove execution, what's a big project or initiative that you're currently focusing on and bringing to life?
Yeah. So my next one is I'm actually speaking at the Confidence Catalyst in Orem on the 22nd of November. So April Young, she's amazing. I'm really bad with names.
It's
Um,
Jenna Nunes.
yes, I was like, I'm really bad with names. Please don't. It's fine. Yeah, she connected us. And after talking to April, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Like, I've wanted to get back on stage speaking for so long now that I'm like, I have to do this. This is just what I'm being called to do. And so I went with her and been journaling every day. If she's listening, I'm journaling every day, I promised. And I am getting my story ready to share at that event. And that's my next big one that I'm doing. So
Excellent. Love it. Love it. And for those of you who are not in Utah, she is talking about Orem, Utah. So give us the dates for that again. If anybody is watching and they're in Utah and want to be able to come and check you out.
yes, so it's November 22nd at the Tax Hive in Orem, Utah. If you go to my website, which we'll talk about at the end, there is an events tab that has the link to buy the tickets, and speaker Sami, Sami, will get you $5 off of your ticket. So
Perfect. So speaking of your website, if they want to learn more about you or that event, where can they go?
yes, it's untethered-healing.com.
Perfect. Well, Sami, thank you so much for being so candid with us today and sharing your experience and how you created your business, where you're at with it, kind of pulling back that curtain on. I love your delegation. Shout out to Lisa. Right?
We love her.
But thank you so much for being on. And for those of you watching, make sure you stay tuned. We will have more Get Good at Business highlights and spotlights coming in the future. But in the meantime, keep going and remember that we can get good at business together.